I just shot a short film with my Sony a7IV and it had some issues. It's not overheating. It's just freaking the hell out for no apparent reason.
Not overheating.
Now let's first just talk about what actually happened. And this is actually an issue that I've never had before shooting this short film. Now I basically always shoot in 10-bit 422 on the a7IV, and I haven't used 8-bit in so long, ever since I got DaVinci Resolve Studio. But what was happening is it would randomly switch back to 8-bit and out of log, just into either Cinetone or the default picture profile, stay there for a second and then immediately switch back all on its own, which caused a bunch of issues. First of all, if it was recording, it stopped the recording, so that was super annoying when you're, mid-take. We had to like stop a couple takes because that happened. But honestly, more annoying than that was the fact that it reset all my settings to the default that I have on my custom setting on the a7IV. Now I had this set to my custom one, which is my normal 25 frames per second, just everyday mode. And by default, I have stabilization turned on to standard, and I have the white balance set to 5600 Kelvin. Now, generally that wouldn't be an issue, but I was shooting on a cinema lens that doesn't really work with steady shot as well as autofocus native Sony lenses do, and I also was going for a really handheld movement look, so I kind of wanted to get rid of all the stabilization. And for all the night stuff, we were actually shooting at 4500 Kelvin in the camera to adjust for the lights that we were using. Now I don't think the whole stabilization thing really affected the footage all that much. Everything was going to be moving a lot anyway, so I feel like the stabilization wouldn't have made a huge difference. But the white balance thing, now luckily it was only 1100 Kelvin difference, so it's not like it was a massive change, which is probably why I may not have noticed it one or two times, because I'm pretty sure we did shoot a couple of shots with the default settings, which is 5600, even though we're meant to be at 4500. Now, notice how I explained what happened and it never told me that anything was going wrong. It just did that out of nowhere. It was really frustrating. But what I think caused it was heat. There were no overheating warnings. Nothing popped up. The camera didn't turn off. It just randomly did this switch and then switch back. And it would often do it in like little bouts, like it'll do it and then do it again, do it again, and do it again. So like some of the shots got delayed a little bit because it kept doing that. But the reason that I think it was heat is because cooling it down helped. I turned the camera off, I put it under the air conditioning, and it seemed to do it way, way less, and then we could keep shooting. And the other reason that I think it was heat is because, one, it was December in Australia, it was hot, and it was later in the day, so it's probably 4, 5, 6 hours into the shoot when this was happening. So it's not like it was just happening as soon as I turned it on. The camera had just been on for hours already. Now, one thing you might have thought is, oh, maybe it's a power issue. I had the SmallRig VB99 Pro plugged into it. I had this set up through the Condor Blue V-Mount Pro. Links to both those things are in the description. But neither of those were particularly hot, and the battery still had heaps of time left on it. What I think maybe exacerbated this issue was the fact that I was using the internal battery and then powering that via USB-C through that V-mount and V-mount plate system. So potentially if I used that dummy battery, that could have helped. But really, I think it was just the camera was too hot and it was not knowing how to deal with it, even though it should have just warned me that it was getting hot and then turned off. Maybe it's because I have the heat setting set to high, so it doesn't turn off or give you a warning. I've never heard of that, but I have definitely heard of the a7IV overheating. It's been a thing since the camera came out, but it kind of makes me like this camera less. But as I mentioned, I shot a short film with this, and speaking of that short film, it'll be coming out hopefully in a month or two. All the sound effects and music that we'll be using for that will come from Audio. Now, Audio is a music licensing subscription where you can license music for any kind of project, and it would cover any kind of project for YouTube videos, for short films, even for client projects. And they have thousands of songs and hundreds of thousands of sound effects that you can just license and download and use in all your projects. They also have 2 AI search sort of features. First of all, the normal search browsing sort of feature is really great just to find the stuff you're looking for. But if you want to find a similar song to a popular song that you can get on Spotify or YouTube, you can just put the link into Link Match AI and get similar songs that way. Or if you have sort of a scene that you could describe, then you can put that into Hans AI, and that will then give you suggestions for what you've described in your scene or in your video. There's a link in the description to audio, and if you use the code SAVE70, you can get 70% off a year of Audio Pro. Okay, back to the whole a7IV issue. As I mentioned, how I dealt with it, I put it under the aircon, I turned it off, opened the battery door, opened the card door. I did remove the V-mount, but it wasn't really, that was definitely not the issue, but I did that anyway. Now, maybe what I should have done is changed the internal battery, because that battery was probably quite hot, and if I changed it, it may have cooled down a fair bit, or at least stopped doing that, but I didn't try that. That would be a thing that I could test if it ever happens again. But what I would rather do in the future is replace the a7IV, at least as one of my main video cameras. I've been using this camera since late 2022, and it's been great, and it is a great hybrid camera, but these days, I don't really need much of a hybrid camera because I barely ever take photos. And it's also fine for shooting YouTube videos like this. I shoot a lot of my videos on this camera, but for whole day productions, like my short film was, we shot for 3 days. 2 of those days were like 8 to 10 hours. The other one was like another 4. So shooting on bigger productions like that, this just isn't built for that. And that's something that I would like to upgrade to, is a camera that is built for this sort of stuff that I do. Now, I do have the FX30, and I do prefer that for my more, professional sort of video stuff. For YouTube, a7IV is fine, but for a lot of my client work, I use the FX30 just because it is built more for video and it works better for video. The only reason that I used the a7IV for hide and seek was because I wanted full frame, and the FX30 is a crop sensor. And this film had a fair few of wider shots, so I kind of needed full frame to get those wider shots, especially since I was shooting on the Nisi Athena 40mm. This is the 50 right now. And if you've been following for a while, the Blazer Remus 33mm that I'm shooting on right now, I wanted to shoot the film on this, but I didn't have it yet, so that was a whole other thing. Anyway, that'll be all for this one. Just a quick rant, and I guess warning. If you have an a7IV and you're trying to use it all day, maybe either reconsider or, put in some precautions, or maybe there's just something wrong with mine. I don't know. But let me know if you've had any similar experiences or if you know of any potential solutions for this. Otherwise, I'm just gonna hope I can save enough money to get like a Pixis or something. Hey, Blackmagic, can I have a Pixis, please? Can I have a Pixis? No, I don't have to do this. While you're in the comments, do all the other things. Check out audio and all of the other affiliate links I've got down there. Go watch another video, maybe my first impressions of the Blazer Remus, or one of my a7IV videos. Okay, bye. Wait, no, I can't even do that because of the aspect ratio. Go watch another video anyway, I just can't put them here, because aspect ratio. Okay, bye.